testing, live.
I can hear you.
Perfect. This is good to go. We're real early, Jim.
What can I say?
Yeah, I got stuff to do, so whatever.
Are you at home now?
Oh, I'm here.
In front of the
I
cactus plant.
just trying to liven things up. At least they're alive. Awesome.
Hi, Angie.
Hello there. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty well. How are you?
Not too bad.
All right.
It's kind of cool out right now. I can't believe we're just at, what, 5:30 and it's already dark outside.
Yeah, once that daylight savings time hits, it's a shocker.
Yeah, it is. I like it the other way. I wish it just stayed that way all year round.
Yeah, I'm fine with it being dark, driving in the morning. It's not totally dark here.
Right. But at nighttime, it keeps a lot of people home because they won't drive at nighttime. Nighttime darkness is when it comes early like that, we just don't adjust real good.
Yeah. Yep.
So everything looking good?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's always challenges out there.
Tell me when there isn't one, would you?
Yeah, I'd be happy to, and
It just never ends. Always something.
yep.
But then that's life.
Yeah, that is.
What would we do if we didn't have challenges? Think about how boring we would be.
Well, yeah, we wouldn't have invented anything. We wouldn't have overcome anything. We wouldn't have history to talk about.
Oh,
I'm sure we'll be talking about this period of time for a while.
yeah, we sure are. Because I've never seen a time this last 2 years where there's been such continuous changes.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you're used to one and it's changed, and you get used to another one, it changes. And we're just kind of flopping all over the place.
Yep.
I can understand why people get irritated with all that. They can't handle. A lot of people can't handle all that movement. They like
Yeah.
everything to be in place.
Right. Or if it happens too rapidly, it's just hard to adjust.
Yeah, nothing's been gradual this last 2 years.
Mm-mm.
It's been, even today when we were talking at the policy meeting, already this new thing about cottage home cooking and stuff is already starting to change, and we just starting to get familiar with it.
Mm-hmm.
There's that look at these two guys showing up. How about that?
I wish I could stay the whole meeting, but I have to leave for a Kiwanis function in about 15 minutes. So
Well,
I'm happy to be here, though.
You have fun tonight.
I have Kiwanis meeting.
Yes, and you be sure and have some fun, or is it just the meeting?
Well, getting together with friends is fun right from the get-go. So no
Yes,
matter what's on the agenda, it'll be okay.
Jim, how are you doing? Can't hear you.
Yeah, you're
Jim?
on mute. Yep.
Jim, unmute yourself.
I'm
There you
doing
go.
really good.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yes, and even better since I'm talking with you.
Well, I'm always appreciate seeing you guys. I truly am.
Well, we just wish we could see you.
Well, that's not going to happen, really. I don't have a cam in here, and I don't need something else. This office of mine is a mess to begin with, and I've got too much stuff in here, and I'm not good with I have a hard time just getting on Zoom, not alone trying to work a camera and everything else.
I understand. I'm just razzing with you.
Now, you want me to do something else, I probably can, but technology is not my big thing. In fact, I'm trying to still figure out after 2 years how I can get my phone to go on vibrate, my cell phone. I can't get it to go.
You can get it to go on vibrate.
Yeah.
What kind of phone is it?
I don't know. It's a piece of junk as far as I'm concerned, and it's in the other room.
Okay.
But it's just, I've even had my grandkids try to get me. I didn't want, there's times I just don't want to turn it all off, but I turn the audio all the way down. And I'll be darned, when I'm at my county board meeting, if one of my grandkids don't call me, like last night, he got locked out of the house and needed to get in. So he was just fortunate his grandma's meeting was just about done and I could get up and leave home and let him in. But it's just, and it's ringing like crazy when I have it turned all the way down. So that doesn't make me happy. I don't like those kind of I don't want the world to know that I've had an interruption like that. I want to know it vibrates. I can live with that.
Got it.
Some I'll learn or buy a new phone.
That's true.
That's the. Well, it would appear we have a quorum, and All parties necessary are here, so I will call this meeting to order.
Just so you know, John, David said he will leave in 15 minutes.
Right.
Okay,
Have to probably motion an agenda.
okay,
Change.
well, let's make a motion to approve the agenda for tonight. Do I have a
So moved.
motion?
Second,
Great, motion is second, all in favor?
aye,
Aye.
Yay. Agenda is approved. We will move into financial statements.
No, we want
First
to
four are
motion, no. Dr. Halverson, we'd like to motion that major expenditure requests be taken first.
We still
Someone
have
just
a
froze
quorum. We
up.
still have a
Oh.
quorum.
You'll still have a quorum. Okay.
I mean,
Motion that
there'll
we
be
move
3
yeah.
out of the 4.
Major expenditures to the
Thank you
first
for the
point.
reminder.
Okay, I only caught
Okay.
half of that because again, my internet connection is unstable. Would you like a motion to move
I would move that.
major expenditures to be the next point of business? Is that what you were?
I would move that.
Okay, do I have a second?
Sorry.
We have a motion and a second to move major expenditure requests to the next point of business. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, thank you. Opposed, so passed. So we'll move into major expenditure reports, page 11. The first is the IDPH electronic filing fee for October for death certificates. And that is in the amount of $8,220. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second,
Motion and a second. Any questions concerning this? If none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
aye,
Aye. So passed. We'll move into our second major expenditure, which is Northern Illinois Service for the demolition of 2311 New Milford School Road. That can be found.
On page 16.
Thank you. And that is in the amount of 15, let's see, let me just make sure we're in the right spot. Yes, $15,515. Do I have a motion to approve?
so moved.
Second.
Second, do we have
No.
any discussions concerning this?
Yes, I want to make you aware on both this and the other demolition that's next. One was awarded to Northern Illinois Service and the other was to N-Track Excavating. That IDA, the Illinois Housing Development, is in a lawsuit at present, and there is risk on these funds if for some reason they determine that they did not meet the conditions for the demolition. Jim, do you have more that you want to share on that?
No, I know that we're trying to get that first one in for the 15,000 into the grant, but if they don't rule in our favor, we are gonna have to use health funds to cover that.
Okay, what are the conditions we're concerned of not being met?
Jim, okay, let me pull this up. There is a pending lawsuit in the courts, and it's really a procedural.
Mhm.
Give me a second here, and I'm going to try and get the document. All right, so it is dated, so I'm going to bring this up on share screen share.
That may be deadly for my computer, but as long as you know.
All right, you should be looking at, again, it says, as indicated in our prior notices, the Illinois Supreme Court issued an opinion on June 17th, ruling that statutory framework funding the abandoned properties is unconstitutional. A follow-up court hearing was held on 10/12/21. The court continued the matter, and the next status hearings are scheduled for 12/1 and 1/20/22. Notwithstanding the pending final disposition of the case, I is stated that because of this, we are not able to continue to fund future rounds of APP. Having said that, please note the following respect to APP round 4 and round 5. So again, for inspections incurred before prior to 9/15, we've already got that. And then in process parcels is clearly vetting its option to fund purpose expenses incurred after 9/15, but only to the extent a meaningful and material work and expenditure was made prior. So, and again, new parcels were used for any expenses incurred after 9/15. So there is a risk. But this was far enough in the process of having gone through, my apologies there, I gotta get back to my stop share, okay. Far enough in the process of having gone out for bid, having gone on the fast track to attempt to get it demolished. And it puts the, as to that point, I wanted you to all to know you're at $15,000 risk for this one, potentially.
If we run into that problem, do we have the money to cover it?
You have it in your reserves, in your public health
Fantastic.
emergency reserves.
Okay. All right, we have we've had a motion and a second to approve. We've had an explanation on what may be a risk to the health department at the amount of $15,515. All in favor of approving said demolition signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so moved, so passed. We will move into the second, which is N-Trax excavating for the property at 1511 Springfield Avenue. Again, a demolition.
See that.
I don't have a cost on that.
Yeah, I can
I don't-
share the screen on that. I don't think that was ready for the packet, so.
Okay, thank you.
Is this a burnout that was on Springfield? The house that caught fire?
I don't know, Angie, there's so many of them. I don't want you to be, you know what I'm saying? We've got a lot of properties in there. This is, and actually, this is a property. Yeah, Jim,
Yeah, it's 1511 Springfield.
right.
Avenue.
That was, should have been the one included in the packet. I'm sorry. So it does, we included the correspondence as well as their explanation.
I'm assuming this also runs a risk.
Oh, no, this one has. This one is really, they are only going to do a partial demolish on this particular property. There are about 5 structures on this, Angie.
Yeah.
And again, this was the email that should have come with you so you could see that. This is part of the round 5. Again, we have additional hearings coming up related to that, but we are going to take that down in phases. The owner has stepped up to begin the process of cleaning up the remaining properties that we don't take down. So we're taking down the worst structures first.
And that would be those 2 at each 7,000 and change, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And you say we do not run the risk for holding the bag for that $15,000.
Well, this is from Todd. And again.
Yeah.
Yes, any of the
Okay.
projects, again, put that in there. If they have to deny the funds, yeah, we'd be at risk again for that.
Okay.
But again, we do have sufficient funds in the Public Health Emergency Reserve. But I think there is confidence in general that IDA, that they will rule favorably. And it really has to do with fast track and identifying if it's unconstitutional in the sense of the process related to the homeowners. But our properties, in these particular properties, were not at risk based on the structures and the ownership.
Okay. Do we have a motion to approve?
So
Move.
moved.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. We've been informed of the potential risks to the health department and removing the 2 of the 5 structures on this property at 1511 Springfield Avenue.
And I think- And the total amount, Jim, is in 36,000.
Yes, 36.6. Yeah.
So are we talking 15,000 or are we talking 36,000?
It's the 15 and the 36,000.
Yep.
Okay,
In
so-
total, you'd be at risk.
So, okay, well, but we are initially just removing 2 structures from this property.
Right,
For a
we're
total
gonna
of
do that
15.
36 on the one, on the 36,000 on the end track will be a phased demolition. And that's the maximum that would be.
Okay.
Okay, I did not understand that it was the 36,
My
know.
understanding was it was the 2 buildings and then,
Well, okay,
Mhm.
okay, you've approved the 15,000, so you see Jim
Mhm.
here with the Northern Illinois at 15,000.
Right,
Then the end track, there is, okay, so the Northern Illinois Service got the award for the property at 2311 New Mulford
correct.
Road. Then the end track group got the bid for the Springfield property, which is multiple properties on that location. And so the owner has stepped forward and is working to clean up some of them. Obviously will not be able to afford to clean up all of them, but this is the most the group would be at risk for.
Okay. Several screens back concerning the N-Track group, there were 2 properties listed, both at, I believe, 7,000 and change. Are those the first ones we will be moving to demolish? And then will he be working with the other 3, or these are the first 2 with the other 3 to follow, right there?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
these first.
Can we remove the $15,000 worth of 2 properties and wait
Yep.
until we have a proper ruling on the 30, on the other remaining 3?
It's
I would-
just
Well, the challenge that we have is you can, but there's also cleanup involved. And so I would ask that you not split it, because then we will result in a challenge on this, because if we take down the structure, we have to have some subsequent cleanup. Now, that's a risk we run. We know that we're running a risk in general on this whole, but this is a huge area on this particular property that the owner has stepped forward on. So we've got a removal of structure, secondary house, and then total cleanup of all structures and removal of all debris. So that will leave some structure intact, but they have a ton of debris. So I don't want to have the structures come down without the removal of the debris on the remaining.
Okay, understood. What is the responsibility that the owner is taking, since we are potentially putting the
This
health
goes as a lien on their property. So when they go
Right.
to sell the property, it then is taken at the time, and it's, again, it goes against the deed.
But what is he actually doing? He's supposedly making a move on cleaning these properties up. What movement is he doing within this?
Todd has been working directly with him. He started on the residential structure, the primary house.
Okay. Okay, so we have a motion and a second to approve the entire cost of $36,600, the removal of, or the demolition of 2 properties and the cleanup of the remaining buildings and demolished properties.
point of information, I'm sorry, I'm still not clear. The 7,200 and 7,800, isn't it a total package of 51,600 that we're talking about?
Between the 2 demolitions, Jim, yes, but we approved the one for the property on New Milford Road for 15,000 and change.
Right,
This is by N-Trax Excavating. Oh, I see what you're saying. You're adding
This
the
is North-
72 and the 78.
No.
No, the
Correct.
total,
No.
I believe, if I am correct, Sandra, is 36,600.
Correct.
So the
And so
cost
there
of
are, I believe,
cleanup and removal is $20,000.
well, there's other structures. So
Right.
if we phase in and do removal of structure A garage, it's 7,200. If we do structure B, it's 7,800. Now, the challenge that we have, and let me be clear, is once this group comes on this property, there's charges associated with all of it. So we don't want to end up with a couple more dilapidated structures that we'll have to pay at some point to come back out anyway and clean that up. The owner is working on the primary structure, which is the primary home. And so the total for all structures and cleanup is 36,600. But we will begin the process of moving that out, right? The most you'd be on the system for is 36,000. But what I don't want to do is get on, let's say NTRAC comes on that property, starts demolishing garage, then starts demolishing the second house. The concern is that if they go off and the owner has made no progress, I still want the remaining structures to come down.
Right. I'm just trying to clarify that the 7,200 and 7,800 are included in the 36,600.
Yes, it's the removal of all structures and removal of all debris.
How much acreage is to this place?
No.
I don't know, Angie, off the top of my head. Let me find out for you.
Sandra, I'm sorry, I need to get a clarification of what you just said. Because the 36,600 is not the removal of all structures, it's the two and the remaining cleanup. So if he does not follow through with the restoration of the main property, the residence, we would need to have that building and the other two demolished, which could add further cost, correct?
No, the total amount that we would be charged on this bid is 36,600.
Even if the owner does not follow through on his obligation.
Correct. That's what we
Okay.
are going for, the maximum. So
Okay.
that I don't know how likely he is to be able to do that. And I've had that conversation with Todd.
Okay,
But this is, it's quite amount, and I'm trying to get in, Angie. I can't get into the,
That's fine. I just wondered that if this happens, and like you say, they put a lien against his property, it's also, that's all well and septic over there too, is it not? So they'll have to get rid of the septic,
oh yeah.
and they'll have to, sometime down the road, someone will have to put a new well and septic out there. Just wondered that if the liens on that would cover the cost of that land when it got sold. Basically, this is what I'm thinking. That's 72 grand for a garage. It's a very, very big garage.
Oh yeah, they're barns. I mean, they're really not.
Okay, it's a barn more. Okay.
Let me see if I can get it up in Wingest.
Well, while we're waiting, I'm running out of time, but my count is that I would not affect the total quorum, therefore the ability of this committee to do business, if I am excused.
okay. Jim, do you need further clarification concerning the cost of the demolition and cleanup of this property and the health department's obligation potential?
Just one final one where we say total cleanup of all structures. All structures could be read structure A and structure B and the removal of all debris. Or are there other structures on the property that we would be doing the cleanup of also?
My understanding is, and there are other structures, that is the remaining $21,000 of that 36,500 cost. The cleanup would not, I don't believe that would include the demolition of those buildings because we are just removing debris from the property. But it sounds like the maximum amount the health department would be on the hook for would be the 36.6, even if the owner does not fulfill his obligation, or his stated obligation of
All right.
cleaning up the other properties.
Okay.
Jim, does that sound correct?
Talking about Jim 1 or Jim 2?
I'm sorry, Jim Keeler.
Yes, yes, there are three different quotes there, and the bottom quote is all inclusive.
The only reason I was asking about the property, because if we have to do the whole thing and there's a lien on it, to hope that we get reimbursed through that lien if that land is sold, that we would at least have monies coming back to us, I believe, if that happens. Because it will all be liened against that owner, and he will not be able to sell that house without paying off those liens.
Right, but would the money from the lien be the health departments, or would it be the cities or the counties?
I don't know. I don't know how that would work, because unless there's taxes due on it, the portions of taxes will go to the county. But that other should actually reimburse us because we're taking it out of our reserves.
Well, we don't know if we're taking it out of our reserves yet.
No,
Right.
saying
Correct.
if. It
Yeah, I
came to
want to
that.
make sure that we don't get ahead of ourselves at this point. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So,
Do we know an approximate value of what the land might bring?
no, we've not done an appraisal of that.
Okay. But we assume that it's worth more than the 36.6.
We do, but we can certainly, I can get the acreage. I'm getting my layers yet.
But we don't need to waste more time on it because we're going to be losing our gentleman, Jim.
But we don't have to worry about that, Angie.
he's
We
fun.
have a quorum.
Okay.
Right, Jim reminded me, thought we were missing a person. My apologies. I got everybody off on the wrong foot to start.
No, you're fine.
If this has to be done, this has to be done. There's not getting any way you're going to get around it.
Okay.
Because when you have all that type of structure out there that is all decaying, it brings down the property values also all the way around it. And I just, we don't want these type of structures just sitting that have to be removed. It's terrible.
Remember, these are the bad of the bad, right?
Yeah.
They met the eligibility criteria for IDA funding prior. I mean, we just have this kind of glitch that we're in the process of, we had bid these properties out. They had met the criteria for being demolished. The challenge is that we have this IDA lawsuit now going through that puts the funding at risk, that we may not be reimbursed for the takedown of the property from the grant. What's the best map, Ann? Do you think plat map to give me my most,
Well, do each one of these have a different property code?
I don't have the PIN numbers on it.
What do you have for the main address?
1511 North Springfield.
Avenue.
Go to 15, and if you're in Winchester, go to 1511 North Springfield, and that you can see the other lots that have houses on it that probably belong to this person.
Yeah, it's not bringing it up as clearly as I want to.
And let's not waste any more time on it.
And my apologies, because I said Tati could have a night off.
Well, it's not
Shame
that
on me. I'm like, wow, I said, I know why we're doing this. I mean, I just don't have all the, fancy bells and whistles here on the,
and sometimes you need just all the addresses, and that'll get you where you want to be.
I know.
Yeah. So just
Angie,
have-
is the acreage and size of this property, is it enough of a concern to hold the vote?
We can certainly, provide that.
I feel comfortable enough, without that of going ahead and voting on it,
I
You know, with
agree.
we just want to make sure he doesn't, the owner doesn't backtrack us and try to sell that property. Those liens are on there and those liens have to be paid, and I hope we're the lien holder. Winnebago County Health Department. Since we're the one putting up the money from our reserves if we have to do that.
How can we check whether we would be the lien holder?
Our attorney can do that.
Pardon me?
Our attorney can do that.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think that they're typically written in if we had to, and we do that with the host fee ones. This is not, the difference between this property is that we wanted to be clear with you that there was a risk on funding on this one, right?
Mhm.
Now, when we take down properties with the host fee, which is the $100,000 that I get from the county budget to put in to do demolitions, it is put on the deed. And again, now that goes back to the county because they gave us the money, but it is
Correct.
written in at that point.
So we just have to make sure we have our foot in the door just in case.
Then do we want to confirm that before we make a recommendation to the full board? Or do we want to make a recommendation with a contingency that it be covered, or do we just want to take a vote? What is the consensus of the committee?
I feel we need to cover our bonds. If we have to take half a loss, that's one thing, but to take a total loss, that's a lot. And I would like to see us, Sandra, is there anything that says this has to be done tonight?
Well, Angie, we're running out of time just because of the weather.
Lawsuit.
Sir? Yeah.
And we also want to make sure that we do get our properties in within the timelines of the grant. So we do have the timeline of the grant, right? And we don't want to be cut out to say, well, you didn't do anything with the funds. So we'll reallocate your abandoned property round 5 funds.
So we should have this together by next.
Oh yeah, I can have that. I can have a plat map put out and what the dimensions are.
Why don't we do that, John? Lay it over until next Tuesday so we can get the rest of the information. Will that work?
Will that,
Yeah, that would be taken as a separate line because we don't move on this anyway till Tuesday night, right?
correct.
Right.
Chris with work.
So we'll just
And
make it a
so-
part of the,
You would take it up as the full board on the Tuesday night meeting.
all
And
right.
that takes off of this committee's shoulders too. That way the whole board votes on it.
The whole board would still vote on it, but they'll be able to get the full information on the
Exactly.
potential risk and see the plat and, okay,
It's going to be just like we are tonight. We're just trying to figure out what we can do and what we can't do. It'll be the same thing over again. And then we'll have to wait another month. By that time it's December and we got problems with weather.
okay. And
So what do we
will-
do with our motion? Do we withdraw it? Do we
Don't
table it?
Just lay it over just make a motion to lay it over till next Tuesday.
And pending, you want the additional information on the acreage.
And how the lien is written,
Oh,
Or
well,
we
again, the
can
lien
leave-
is written, okay, so if you want legal, then that's gonna take, okay.
I believe Angie wants to know the recipient of the lien, were the suit to be against or successful in that we lose the funding and the property is demolished and cleaned up. that the health department would in some way
Yeah, we
receive
could
money
write it
from
in
this.
on the deed as we do now for lead.
Okay. However that works. Because if we're taking it out of our reserves, that's that's not nickels and dimes.
I know, but I want to be clear though. We would not be
It's-
bringing forward if we thought it was a significant risk in reviewing this with Ida and reviewing this with Charlotte and Lafa. The risk is not, we wanted you to be aware there could be a risk,
Right.
but I don't want everyone to think we're taking it out of the reserve immediately.
No, I understand that. And when we take it out, though, we want to be able to replace it in a reasonable length of time. That's all I'm thinking of. That down the line, we just need to, if we can't even get all of it, at least we can get some of it back.
So you're saying, Sandra, if I hear you, that we may not need to take this out of the reserve at all?
Correct.
And that'll be wonderful.
Well, I
It would
know,
only be if we,
If-
under circumstances due to the, what's
the
pending
lawsuit with Ida, right?
with Ida, that we would
Right.
potentially have to take it out of the reserves.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
But it seems like what I'm hearing, a fairly low risk, that will happen, but you wanted to make us aware that there was at least a minimal risk.
Correct.
That is correct.
We also, not that it's not an insignificant amount, but I believe this would be less than 0.5% of our total reserve if we were to take it out of the reserve. Is our reserve not around $8.5 million at this point? I know we don't have the exact numbers.
Yeah, that would be correct, and I would agree with your 0.5%. That's
Yeah.
reasonable math.
Okay.
What I'm trying to think through is if we have enough information tonight to vote on it and approve it, or whether we want to lay it over and take this discussion into the board with some of its complexities. This could end up being a significant issue.
The other thing we could do is, if we agree with the overall basis that the property does need to be, the two buildings need to be demolished and the area needs to be cleaned up at a maximum cost of $36,600, we could vote as a committee to bring it to the board. And then at the board meeting, when we have the other information, we can go into more detail, rather than make simple recommendation. The committee has these concerns, which we bring to the entire health board and let them know. And by then we may have more information, which may help with the board deciding on the vote to take.
I like that. I would feel, what I'm hearing is we would vote on it tonight, but we would still deal with it as an individual item with the additional information for the board.
Well,
Does that work for you, Angie, or no?
Yeah. As long as we have that information to go forward with it.
Sandra, does that work?
yeah, it's whatever, I'll work with whatever you give me.
Okay.
No, I mean, I know this is complex. I mean, this isn't
It is
just
complex.
straightforward. And
Would you do it as a layover till our next meeting with the board, which is a week from now? Or do you feel that we need to vote on this other than to lay it over?
I think Jim brings up a good point, which is it starts a lot more conversation and discussion. You've had that to know that we have a risk on the IDA funding. You know that it's less than 1% of reserve. What you
Right.
want is we already write it into the deed. So again, because we're the payee, we would be the ones. And we do that now, on some other things. So I'm not concerned that would not be available to us to do. But I think the other thing is you wanted to know the acreage, and I can I usually can get through winches. I can't get the layer that I want. I don't know what I've got.
Right. That
Um,
right now.
Yeah. So that would be the thing is that, to bring it forward with an approval, additional information was provided. You wanted to know the acreage. But again, I think that you start that whole conversation and, if you don't want to, again, we felt it was a low risk, otherwise we wouldn't be moving forward on this.
All right.
But it is a risk. There's no,
Mhm.
it's a calculated risk. We
You
feel that.
solved one of my questions, and that is you can write it into the deed so we know, so that was, if that, because that land isn't probably worth that much. But the thing is, we would get some reimbursement back. That's all I'm worried about. And you've already said you can do that into the deed. You've done it before, and that way we do get some of our money back when it is sold.
Right. And we get, we do the forgivable loans on Angie on the lead, right? If they want to sell after 3 years, they have to submit to us. And we have that taken care of. But, and we do this, as I said, on the others as well. But it's unusual. I mean, it's unfortunate on this Illinois housing development stuff. But again, let's say we didn't do this, we decided as a board, you decided, no, we don't want to take the risk. This property would continue to lay until court decisions were made, and then we'd have to start the legal process all over again, along with the process. I'll be clear on that, I mean, that would be something that would have to continue.
If this is the property, I think it is, the neighbors are already complaining about it being in the condition it is, and why is it still standing there?
Well, yeah, I mean, these are how do I say it? The bad of the bads. I mean, does that make?
Yeah, it's the worst of the worst.
Just so you know, I went on realtor.com, Angie, because I thought maybe it would give me, sometimes you can get that. Oh yeah. Okay. Well, here, let's see if I can do a screen share now. And again.
Don't worry about it right now. We have a week and we'll get all that information just so we have background on it.
Yeah, they've got it listed as 1.29 acres.
The whole thing or just the one piece of property?
That one piece, but again, lot size, it was updated 7/23/2021, lot size 56133. Median listing homes in that area are 79,000. It's amazing what you can do now. You get more out of these other things. But again, we can certainly pull it through the winches. But I will tell you that even if this was your, I'm going to show you this.
I love the way you can split screens like that.
Here we are. It already looks a little wonky, just the main structures.
And that looks like it's on the east side of the street.
Oh yeah. Oh, we got some fun things there. I can't get to all of the pictures on this view, but as you would guess, it's probably not in great shape.
No, doesn't look it. Oh, no.
A little bit rough. I like all the cars. Do we get money on those cars?
I'm not in the car business. Thank you.
Oh.
I can't get to the back side of the property. Oh yeah. See, you can see.
Yeah, it's all garbage.
All right. Let's be clear, folks. This is a public health hazard. I don't, even on, this is your realtor.com. This is supposed to be selling this property for beautiful.
Sandra, not to throw some more fuel on the fire, but do we have any idea when there might be a ruling upon this lawsuit? Where is it within the legal?
Okay, so let me come back out, because I know Todd had put a later version. Let me get out of this. Okay, let me go back over. Yeah, you have to be adept at all of these things, you know. Let's see. Okay, let me come back. I thought it was in December was the next one. It says they have a court, status hearings are set for 12/1/2021 and 1/20/22.
Okay. All right. So we will return again. Is the plan for the committee to table this and bring all the information to the Tuesday meeting for a full board vote and explanation? Is that the committee's consensus?
I would prefer that we approved it and brought it forward and then just added in some ancillary information prior to them taking a vote.
That sounds good, Jim.
Okay. All right. With
I'll
that, we have a motion and a second to approve the demolition of the 1511 Springfield Avenue, two buildings at 7200 and 7800 with a potential maximum cost of 36.6. All in favor of bringing this to the board for approval with the additional information on potential risks to the health department, signify by saying aye.
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 You got it.
Yeah, I can't wait for this discussion with. the
Yeah,
board.
I'm already trying to figure out how I can be out on Tuesday.
No, well, first of all, I asked that it be included in the packet. And so I don't know why. And again, I have to figure out, sometimes the agenda goes up quicker, but we did put together that correspondence from Ida in the package. So you've got that. As well as what I need to pull out then is I will have the WinGIS diagram so you can see all the lovely structures on that property.
Okay.
And I'll be happy to provide all the lovely photos that we have outside of realtor.com. But as I said, that's what they can view from the general public. So you can imagine what our pictures look like.
Okay.
And again, the process, as I said, I really don't know if the homeowner really can get through that process. And I just don't want to have a demolition go out there. You saw, I don't think, again, when you talk cleanup, we're talking about all those vehicles and all that gas cans and.
Oh, even that camper.
I know, that's my mobile home, Angie.
Actually, I'm going to buy that camper and send it to the health department for vaccination.
It's my one.
Sandra, is it possible you could mention to Todd to give me a call so I can make sure I have all this information correct for
Yes.
Tuesday's meeting on Friday, say after 3 o'clock?
I will email him that. And what more are you looking for so that he's clear? Because
I just want to make sure I have everything straight. So.
And I think an important piece of that, at least as I was hearing this talk, is that the fact that, the lien will be incorporated into, for lack of a better term, the paperwork, that goes with it. So that we are covered, in terms of that. I thought that was one of your main concerns, Angie.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yep.
Okay,
That's it.
good discussion, group.
Yes.
Okay.
which is why probably Todd was like, do you need me here?
Well, it helps having visual too, just seeing what we're dealing with. That in itself helped. I think we all kind of thought, oh my Lord, I like to know if someone is living there.
Yeah, well, okay.
Well,
I don't believe there are utilities, Angie. You know how this goes. There's no utilities working. But anyway, I will make sure that Todd, you want him to call you, Dr. Halverson? I'll give him your cell phone.
that would be great.
All
That would
right.
be great.
Dr. Martell, the house that burnt down next door to me had no utilities either, but it had people living in it.
I know. We move the people out, Angie, before any demolition occurs.
And
Please-
I understand. I just mean right now, is there any?
Does that cost us more?
The people mover.
I
The
should
people
not
mover.
say that on a recorded conversation. That's
No,
gonna
I mean,
come
it's
back to haunt me.
extremely, I mean, it is, I mean, when we do this, as you know, the day we go on these properties, typically we have one of our inspectors there to make sure, because people do camp on those home sites. And unfortunately, they're squatters and it's unsafe. It's unsafe to not only them, but those around them. So, it is a challenge. And obviously, when you see something like this, it's not only is it just, I'm going to say property damage, but we clearly have some mental health concerns that would occur.
Absolutely.
When you see that kind of amount of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Making sure, again, that the owner occupant is safe someplace.
Got it.
We'll move on to the fourth major expenditure request, which is for Qualtrics. Qualtrics XM platform renewal at the cost of $197,460. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. I have a motion and a second. Discussion. Can you give me a rundown of what Qualtrics is?
This is the platform that we purchased last November, December for implementation of the online registration, scheduling, and documentation of the COVID-19 vaccines. We also expanded to include our community-based flu vaccines. And what you're seeing is the renewal for that continued service going forward. In addition to, you see a scoping of work. We are beginning to look at this vendor for our community dashboard related to our community health improvement plan. So that is, if you look on page, it was highlighted in my document. On page order form professional services exhibit, which is page 29, project scope, enable public dashboards on a single brand.
Point of information under the account to charge, there's two accounts that it's charged to. How does it happen? We're charging two accounts at that point.
Jim, are you?
Yes.
I don't.
It should be one blacked out. We are charging 43190 now.
I think it just got carried over
Okay.
from the ones above, but that ought to be eliminated.
Right, because it's actually, if you look on the purchase order, it's under project code 6001
Right.
and then 42210 data processing and supplies.
Yeah.
So it should be one. I don't know what that is.
But
I think it's
is-
just with
Yeah.
using the 43,190 in the top three items,
yes.
it just got carried over to the bottom and just needs to be eliminated.
And a portion of that, a small portion is funded under our vaccine program,
I was going to.
local health protection grant for like $11,000. Then we had an amendment, which were for our COVID-19 mass vaccination program. And they previously denied any reimbursement for this Qualtrics, but we're trying to submit it again because the Illinois system is lacking in some, is it pediatrics that,
Yeah, they didn't get their
Yeah.
pediatrics up yet. We're already up on our Well, we decided that we would continue using it. We had how many individuals at that point that were registered on the system? So we have budgeted for this in the accounts. So this was budgeted for the renewal for this year.
Right.
It includes our technical support as well as the, what they call the cloud and any integration services. I'd like to say we didn't need anything like this anymore, but
How long is this good for?
a year, 12 months.
Any further questions?
No.
We have a motion and a second. We'll bring this to a vote. Calls for a vote. All in favor of bringing this to the board for approval, signify by saying aye.
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 So passed. We will now move back. If there's no further major expenditure requests, we will move back into financial statements. The first four being resolution of expenditures, statement of fund balance, financial review, and our balance sheet are all deferred. We have our bank reconciliations, starting on page 2, for our general account, our lead account, our abandoned properties in the state of Illinois e-pay. Does anyone have any questions or concerns concerning those accounts?
Nope.
The e-pay account wasn't ready at press time, so I can share that if you want to take a quick look
That
at
would
it.
be great.
Okay. Okay. You see that 380,000 and which is the munis book balance and the adjusted bank balance, 377, 283.02. With items outstanding. And there's the bank balance at 377, 283.02. And then in highlighted in purple, the munis balance at 380, 324.84. There's no questions. I can bring this down then.
Okay.
Any questions? Okay, thank you. Okay. Items F, G, and H, the revenue expenditure reports, public health, the emergency reserve minimum graph, and the accounts receivable are also deferred.
Jim, do you anticipate there'll be any delay for the board because the 15th falls on the Monday and we have the holiday?
The boards are meeting this month on a lot of different days, I'll tell you. We had our county board meeting last night for this week.
I know, no, and usually the month end is run on the 15th. And,
Right.
And again, so I don't know if the county is going to be done with their portion for Jim to get it done on the 5th,
I don't know. I really don't know because I'm not on finance.
No. Jim Keeler.
All right, go ahead.
Actually, yeah, we get our reports submitted and if they aren't posted, we go ahead and put a journal entry in as if they were posted, and then we reverse them because they have to go through audit and be examined, and we
Yes.
just assume that everything gets approved. So that way I can get them out. And so, I may have to do a screen share on Tuesday night to go through
Okay.
them, but just so that they're accurate. But
Are you talking about this month?
yes, for
Yes.
October statement for the upcoming Board of Health meeting on Tuesday.
Okay, that's the 16th, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, the 16th. And see, our meeting's going to be, I believe, the 23rd. So I don't know, I really don't know, Jim. I wish I could tell you more about that, but financing and I just don't get along. Why I'm on this committee, I don't know.
No, that's okay. No, I just wanted to know if Jim, from our perspective, knowing that
Right.
we have the holiday and the 15th, whether or not
Yeah.
we would have those available. Because sometimes we haven't had them available, so I just
Yeah.
wanted, it was just a question.
And I wish I could answer it for you, but I can't. Call, Mr. Rickard and find out, was it Dave Rickard? He's the only one that can tell you.
Well, Jim Keeler said what he does is a preliminary, that he'll have a preliminary for us, that he may not be able to get it. It may not, what I want to prepare everyone for is it may not be in your packet that you receive. That it will in fact, it won't be in your packet that you receive because
All right.
it won't be available till Monday.
Monday.
Yeah. And so it'll have to be in a screen share.
Okay.
Sounds good.
And it looks like I'll be deferring a lot to your
So
agenda.
that's why we'll make sure you're all prepped and ready, Dr. Halverson, so that we won't leave you hanging.
Okay, well, I hang myself most of the time. Okay. Do we have any proposed contracts or agreements that were not included on the schedule?
Oh, we thought there
We
was enough
expect
tonight.
Well, there was much more than I was expecting. Do we have any need for an executive session?
No.
Okay. Any additions? All right. I need an emotion for an adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
All right. Thank you. All in favor of adjourning? Signify by saying aye.
And
Aye.
again,
Aye.
thank you for adjourning because I have a dog that's got his knees crossed.
Okay.
He's just,
You
That's
poor
for-
dog.
well, what he does is I don't know what it is when we have this meeting. I guess it's his time when, they have their own time schedules.
He figures, hey, wait a minute, it's time to end that meeting to end.
Yes. Well, he's been on me for the last 15 minutes, so I need to let him go. But you guys all have a safe night and keep healthy. Okay?
You
Now,
too.
Okay.
You
You
too,
too.
Angie. Good night,
Bye-bye.
everyone.
Bye-bye.
All right. Good evening. See you Tuesday.
See you Tuesday.
I'll talk.